Steinmeier, the Democratic leader in the House, will be joining us for that. The governor is just getting set to enter the chamber. The executive committee, her family, all the legislators are seated and ready to go here in the House chamber for her speech. This will be her 9th condition of the state address. It will not be her final condition of the state address. There have been some folks thinking this is the governor's last speech since she will not be running for re-election, but she will have one more condition of the state address next year. Of course, this speech will set up her agenda for the 2026 legislative session, which opened yesterday here at the state capitol. Let's go down now to the House floor.
It is my pleasure to introduce to you Governor Kim Reynolds for her Condition of the State message to the 2026 session of the 91st General Assembly.
Thank you. Thank you. Madam President, Mr. Speaker, Lieutenant Governor, First Gentleman, legislative leaders and members, justices and judges, my fellow Iowans. So this is the 9th time that I've addressed you from this chamber to report on the condition of the state. It's a place that has witnessed nearly 2 centuries of Iowa history. Moments of crisis and moments of courage, times of uncertainty and times of renewal. Yet through it all, one thing has remained constant: ordinary citizens stepping forward to do the extraordinary work of self-government. Every person in this room is a part of that story, and every session we add a new chapter, sometimes loud, sometimes quiet, but always lasting. But history isn't only written by laws passed. It's written by lives lived in service, by people who gave their time, their talent, and their hearts to this state. This evening, we feel the loss of 3 of them who were with us last year. Representative Martin Graber, Senator Rocky DeWitt, and Senator Claire Celsey. We honor their lives, their service to the people of Iowa, and the deep commitment each of them brought to this institution. For many of us, they were more than colleagues, they were friends, and their presence will be greatly missed. Iowa also lost another state leader last year, Representative Janet Metcalf, who served in the Iowa House from 1985 to 2003 and passed away in March. Each of these public servants left a lasting mark on our state, and we are better for it. There's no greater calling than service, especially when it asks for the greatest sacrifice. Exactly 1 month ago, well beyond these walls and even beyond our nation's borders, Iowa suffered a different kind of loss, one that reached into every home, in every small town and city neighborhood, and into the very heart of who we are. On December 13th, 2025, a lone gunman with ties to ISIS opened fire on American troops in Syria. 2 of those killed and 3 wounded were Iowans. Our fallen soldiers served their state and their country with honor. As respected leaders, they were models of courage, commitment, and character. And as Americans who answered the call when freedom required it, they showed us the greatest love a person can give by laying down their life for their friends. Staff Sergeant William Nathaniel Howard of Marshalltown had always dreamed of becoming a soldier. He joined the Iowa National Guard at age 17 and served more than 11 years. He stood out not just for his dedication to the mission, but also to his brother and sisters in arms. Above all, Staff Sergeant Howard, Nate, to his family and friends, was a loyal son and brother and a loving husband. He cherished those closest to him with tenderness, humor, and a sincere heart. Staff Sergeant Edgar Torres Tovar of Des Moines was the pride of his parents and a role model to his siblings. He was certain that his purpose in life was to serve his country, and he enlisted in the United States Army after graduating from high school. He was the first in his family to wear the uniform, and in the words of his father, Hugo, he was their hero, and now he's a hero to all of us. Iowans watched with heavy hearts as our fallen made their journey home, and Iowans were with them every step of the way. They were escorted from the Middle East by Iowa Guard soldiers and airmen, including Staff Sergeant Howard's own brother, Staff Sergeant James Rolsgaard, who served on the same deployment. When they arrived at Dover Air Force Base, another group of Iowans was waiting. The 185th Air Refueling Wing Mortuary Affairs Team, ready to care for their own with dignity and honor. When I reflect on the evil that robbed our state of 2 exceptional young men and wounded 3 others, I'm aware that there are no words can right the wrongs of their deaths or make up for the loss of their loved ones. But know this, their service lives on in the families they cherished, in the communities they strengthened, and in the freedoms they helped preserve. This evening, the Torres Tovar family is with their church community, observing the 30th day since their son's death with a special memorial service. They send their heartfelt gratitude to Iowans for their prayers and support. Staff Sergeant Howard's wife, parents, and brother are with us tonight. And I want you to know that you remain in our prayers, and we will never forget Nate's sacrifice. Tonight, we don't remember our fallen soldiers only in sorrow, but in gratitude. We don't speak their names only in grief, but in honor. And we don't pause simply to mourn, but to celebrate their lives and give thanks for the gift they've given all us. Please join me in honoring Staff Sergeant Howard, Staff Sergeant Torres Tovar, and their families with the applause of a free and grateful people. As we mourn and honor those we've lost, we haven't forgotten our 3 wounded warriors who answered the same call to duty that day. One soldier was treated for minor injuries and returned to his unit where he remains to complete this mission. The other 2 soldiers were seriously injured, and in their most critical moments were cared for by fellow Iowans. Airmen from the 185th Air Refueling Wing Medical Group, based out of Sioux City and deployed in the Middle East, took charge of the soldiers' treatment and evacuation. Lieutenant Colonel Paul Niles shared that the wounded were reassured, knowing that it was fellow Iowa Guardsmen caring for them, praying with them, and standing beside them. Days later, they transferred our 2 wounded soldiers to Germany for stabilization, and then home to the United States to continue their recovery with their families. Iowans taking care of Iowans, all in the service of their country, and our state could not be prouder. And tonight, I am pleased to share some good news. Both soldiers have been discharged from the hospital and are now being treated in an outpatient facility, and both are doing extremely well and improving every single day. And I think I speak for everyone here tonight when I say, we can't wait to welcome you home. As I've declared every time I've been at this podium, the condition of our state is strong. It's strong in our families, it's strong in our communities, and what we've seen so clearly is it's strong in the men and women who are willing to stand watch for all of us. With 1,800 Iowa National Guard soldiers and airmen currently deployed overseas in support of Operation Inherent Resolve, nearly everyone in our state has a connection to someone serving, whether it's a son or a daughter, a spouse or a parent, a friend, neighbor, or coworker. Our heroes in uniform are on the front lines in the fight against evil. They're the tip of the spear and the center of the shield. And they've done more than we can ever repay. Here at home, their families are serving in their own way, holding the home front steady, carrying on with strength and grace, and looking forward to the day when their soldiers return home. Some of the families of the 2nd Brigade Combat Team, 34th Infantry Division are with us tonight. Will you please stand so that we can thank you for your service too? We owe our service members a debt of gratitude, and that debt is best paid by ensuring that our veterans get every benefit they've earned. Iowa is home to nearly 178,000 veterans, yet only a third is receiving the benefits they've earned, placing Iowa 44th in the nation for VA compensation, and that's not acceptable. An outdated system that provides little accountability is leaving too many veterans and well-meaning county officials without the tools, training, and consistency they need. So tonight, I'm proposing a bill to modernize the system statewide. I'm also proposing that we incentivize better performance by repurposing existing state funds to create a new performance-based county grant program. The higher a county's VA compensation per capita, the more money a county will earn, ensuring that outcomes improve. The goal is simple: more benefits reaching more veterans. So let's do more for the heroes who have done so much for us. When I first took office in 2017, Iowa's top income tax rate was 8.98%, among the nation's highest. So was our 12% corporate tax rate. Those taxes weren't just numbers on a page. They were eating into paychecks, increasing the cost of doing business, and quietly making life more expensive for Iowa families. So we took bold, decisive action. We eliminated the inheritance tax and taxes on retirement income so families could keep what they'd worked a lifetime to build. We reformed the corporate tax structure and are on our way to a flat 5.5%, making it easier to grow a business and hire Iowans. We enacted a 3.8% flat income tax, so your paycheck goes further. And last year, we cut the unemployment insurance tax in half, which will protect jobs and hold down prices. And I am so proud to say that we've cut taxes more than any other state in the country. That's more than just a number, a ranking, or a percentage. It means more room in the budget for groceries, for school supplies, for a tank of gas. It means saving more instead of falling a little further behind. And thanks to President Trump's historic tax cuts for working families, Iowans are set to save big on federal taxes too. And it gets even better, because we made the decision 8 years ago to match all federal tax cuts at the state level. Iowans will get the same relief on their state taxes, including eliminating taxes on tips, overtime, and Social Security. Not every state is doing this or even can because of poor budgeting and runaway spending. But in Iowa, we believe the money you earn is better used by your family than your government. Today, the momentum is real. Despite a challenging global economy, we've attracted over $20 billion in new capital investment since 2024, creating new jobs and new opportunities. Yet for all of the progress we've made, one issue continues to impact Iowans in every community and across every income level: property taxes. Whether you live in a small town, growing suburb, or urban neighborhood, you've probably felt it. Property taxes are rising faster than inflation, faster than paychecks, and faster than population growth. In fact, over the last 2 years, they've gone up more than 10%, and that's not acceptable. Last fall, I held a series of roundtable discussions across the state to hear from Iowans about how it's affecting them. A farmer told me his property taxes have increased fivefold to the point where he fears he won't be able to keep his land and pass it on to the next generation. Kate, a small business owner, said rising property taxes are crowding out her ability to reinvest in her business and her community. And then there's Sandy, a senior, who because of high property taxes is worried about staying in her home. Everyone struggles, she wrote to my office, but they seem to make it even harder when you're a senior. For each of these stories, there are countless others. And though the problem is clear, the reasons are complicated and many, and that makes it hard to fix. Over the years, we've tried to rein in local taxing authority, but it's often felt like squeezing a balloon. Limit one levy and another one expands. So this year, we need to go after the real driver of the problem, spending. Spending is what drives taxes, always has, always will, and the most reliable way to protect taxpayers is to limit the growth of government itself. I'm introducing a property tax bill that will cap overall revenue growth for local governments. That way, they can't grow faster than the families who pay the bills. It's simple but effective. You remember when we were kids, our parents would tell us that money doesn't grow on trees. Well, it's time government learned that too. Wouldn't you agree? To help protect families from runaway spikes and provide more predictability, I'm also proposing to move property tax assessments to every 3 years instead of every 2. And we're taking the burden off taxpayers to appeal large increases and putting it on assessors to justify them. I know many in this chamber have other ideas, and I welcome them. But this is how we begin to tackle the problem and put families back in control. While nearly every homeowner is feeling the pain of property taxes, one group is especially impacted: our seniors. Property taxes were never designed for a world where home values soar while incomes stay flat. For older Iowans living on fixed incomes, rising assessments don't mean rising wealth. They mean rising anxiety. Seniors who did everything right, who worked hard, paid their taxes and saved, are at risk of being taxed out of the very home they hope to grow old in. And that's really not how it should work. My proposal freezes property tax bills for Iowans aged 65 and up whose homes are valued at $350,000 or less, so they can stay in their homes and their communities, because no one should be taxed out of their own front door. Rising property taxes and home prices also leave young Iowans wondering if they'll ever be able to achieve the American dream. And that's why I'm also proposing to create a tax-deductible savings account for first-time home buyers modeled on Iowa's 529 program. So families can contribute years in advance, helping sons, daughters, even grandchildren be prepared for home ownership when the time comes. And it's also why I'm introducing legislation to modernize the beginning farmer's tax credit, expanding its size and making it refundable, and extending it to land sales as well as leases. That'll also strengthen our multi-generational farm families as the credit applies to sales and leases to relatives. Whatever their dream, let's make sure it's within their reach, so more young Iowans will choose to build their future here. These are important changes and they need to be made, but here's the truth. Property taxes are driven locally, so they can't be fixed by state government alone. If Iowans want lower property taxes, we must also change how local government works and who we elect to run it. We need leaders who understand that government can't grow faster than the families who pay for it. And if you're one of those people, please run for office, because we need a government that lives within its means and leaders who will do the same. We're doing this at the state level. We've aligned agencies, eliminated 21 departments, and cut over 4,000 regulations. And we're not done, and we never should be. Because businesses and families don't make one budget and call it good. They're constantly finding better ways to save and do more with less. So are we. Today, we're working with some of the biggest names in tech to modernize state systems, drive efficiencies, and improve services. We're partnering with Amazon Web Services to consolidate more than 50 state call centers into a single, smarter system that will use AI to get Iowans the help they need faster, simpler, and at a lower cost. And through a new partnership with Google Public Sector, we're building a modern, intuitive, and fully compliant, comprehensive child welfare system in a fraction of the time and for less than half the typical cost. This transformational project will save taxpayers dollars, and it will serve as a national model. And that's what efficiency looks like, and that's how we keep spending in check so Iowans can keep more of their money. And now it's time to take that very same approach locally. Many communities already are. Scott County manages waste services at no direct cost to its 17-member communities, saving nearly $16 million every year. Other cities have partnered with their counties for law enforcement services, share county engineers, and contract with their local hospitals to provide the county's public health services. These solutions do more than save money. They represent the same practical, responsible approach that Iowa families take every day. And it's time more governments do the same. And starting tonight, every Iowan can go online to the Iowa Department of Management's website and see how their city or county is spending their tax dollars. I encourage you to take a look at those budgets, ask questions, and help us be part of the solution. Tonight, I want to address another issue that cuts across all communities. It's one I know weighs on the minds of many Iowans: our fight against cancer. Every year, more than 2,000 Iowans are diagnosed with this terrible disease. Everyone in this room has been affected by it in some way. Hearing the news that you or someone you love has cancer is devastating. I know it personally with Kevin's diagnosis 2 years ago. And even though we now understand what his diagnosis means and how we can manage it, questions of why it happened remain unanswered. And that's a reality many Iowa families struggle with. which is why last year I directed Iowa HHS to partner with the University of Iowa College of Public Health to begin the most comprehensive study of cancer ever undertaken in our state. In the coming weeks, the initial findings will be released, but we're not waiting for a report to act, because some of the most powerful tools in the fight against cancer are already clear. When cancer is found early, lives are saved and families are spared unimaginable loss. Breast cancer, caught at stage 1, has a 99% survival rate. Prostate cancer is nearly 100%. At stage 4, however, those survival rates dip below 40%. That's why early detection is so important. It doesn't just change outcomes, it changes lives. And that belief became the personal mission of Joe Garcia of Urbandale. Joe lost his wife, Jennifer, to cancer in 2016. Since then, he's been driven by a vision, a future where every Iowan knows about cancer screening, has access to it, regardless of income, insurance, or zip code, and where no family hears the words, "We found it too late." When Joe and his son, JT, came to my office and shared that vision, I knew it was one Iowa had to help with. Joe, JT, and Mike Schweers, who also lost his wife, Linda, to cancer, are with us tonight. Their advocacy has helped turn awareness into action, and their voices have helped shape the statewide effort we're launching now. Please join me in thanking them for honoring their loved ones by helping protect families across Iowa. Tonight, I'm proud to tell you that Joe's vision is becoming Iowa's mission. Just 2 weeks ago, Iowa's innovative plan to strengthen rural health care, called Healthy Hometowns, was awarded $209 million for year 1 of the federal Rural Health Transformation Program. Just this year, more than $50 million will be invested specifically in cancer prevention, screening, and treatment. And we expect it to grow to $183 million over 4 years, and that's just for cancer. Here's what that means for families. It means a working parent who can get a mammogram and a follow-up MRI before a lump becomes a diagnosis. It means Iowans can do a colon cancer test at home and get a colonoscopy before symptoms appear. It means telehealth visits and new skin cancer screening tools, so care doesn't get delayed because life is busy. It means routine prostate exams, catching cancer while it's still treatable. And it means radon testing and mitigation, so families aren't unknowingly exposed to the second leading cause of lung cancer in their own homes. We're making early detection the norm, not the exception, replacing fear with hope and making sure that if families hear the word cancer, they also hear, we caught it early and we can treat it. That's how lives are saved, and that's what Iowa is building right now. Of course, early detection is just the beginning. What happens next is just as important. How quickly care starts, how close to home it can be delivered, and how well families are supported through the hardest days of their lives. Through Healthy Hometowns Initiative, we're developing cancer care hubs, helping fund the equipment, oncologists, and advanced medical technology necessary to provide this specialized treatment. That's step one, and it starts this year. Then we'll complete this hub and spoke model by opening satellite clinics in outlying communities where patients can get a routine cancer care even closer to home. This effort expands on our proven Centers of Excellence program, which has increased access to maternal health care in rural Iowa. Now, with a strong foundation in place, we can move faster, go further, and truly transform care by expanding the model to cardiovascular care and mental health. Will not only improve care, will help Iowans get healthier, live healthier, and stay that way. Our Healthy Hometown Plan also supports communities in creating local care teams who together provide primary care and chronic disease management for their patients, and ideally locate all providers within one building. Consider what it would be like if a patient with diabetes, heart disease can see his primary care provider for a routine visit, then meet with a dietitian to create a personalized meal plan, discuss his medications with a pharmacy tech, and consult with a care navigator about his health goals, all in one afternoon and at one location. It would be transformational, and it's all within reach right now. As soon as our plan was submitted, we moved into action, opening applications and engaging the medical community, resulting in over 250 proposals from across the state. And by the end of this month, we'll begin awarding contracts, turning this investment into life-saving treatment. And this is how transformation begins, not with talk, but with action. It's also important to encourage healthy behaviors so we can reduce the high rate of chronic illnesses. Across the United States, more than 40% of children have at least one chronic health condition, and obesity is a major driver of many of them. That's concerning since 1 out of every 6 children in Iowa are considered obese, and Iowa ranks 17th in the nation for adult obesity. This is a serious public health issue, and it's one we're working to address. Iowa was one of the first states in the country to refocus 2 federal food assistance programs on the reasons they were created, to help low-income families afford nutritious foods. With USDA's approval, SNAP and summer EBT in Iowa will help families purchase fresh produce, grains, meat, and dairy, but candy, sweets, and soft drinks are no longer covered. This year, I'm asking the legislature to make sure that our state always maintains a nutrition-first focus for these programs by directing Iowa HHS to maintain a federal waiver going forward. The days of government programs that enable chronic illness are over. It's time for a new era of accountability and health. I'm also requiring physicians take nutrition classes as part of their continuing medical education, so more Iowans have access to the information they need to make informed dietary choices. Lastly, I'm introducing a bill to remove artificial food dyes from school lunch programs. Studies show these chemicals, which provide zero health benefits, contribute to behavioral issues. We can do better for our kids, and we will. For the last 9 years, one principle has guided our work in education: putting students first. That has meant focusing on what actually improves outcomes: early intervention, strong instruction, clear accountability, and real options for families. We focused on evidence-based literacy instruction, training teachers in the science of reading, identifying struggling readers earlier, and giving parents clear tools and choices to help every child master the most important skill they'll ever learn. We strengthened accountability, expanded work-based learning, and focused our system on real student growth, not paperwork. And last year, we applied the same evidence-based principles to math instruction. We also gave teachers the largest raise in state history, because attracting and retaining great teachers is essential to strong schools. And when the pandemic disrupted learning, Iowa kept classrooms open, prioritized stability and mental health, and helped fuel one of the fastest recoveries in the nation. We also expanded educational options, because no single model works for every child. Today, Iowa families can choose the school that best fits their needs, whether that's a neighborhood public school, another district, a public charter school, or a private school through education savings accounts. And this year marks a milestone. For the first time in Iowa history, education saving accounts were universally available, meaning the same state cost per pupil follows every child, regardless of income or zip code. Our message to the nation is simple. In Iowa, we fund students, not systems, and the results speak for themselves. At a time when 78% of America's high school seniors are below proficiency in math and 65% in reading, Iowa is moving in the opposite direction. We're one of only 3 states in the nation whose students now outperform their own pre-COVID levels in reading and math. 3rd and 4th grade reading proficiency is up 11%. 10th grade science proficiency is up 7%. Chronic absenteeism is down nearly 10%. Attendance is improving. Literacy is improving. Science is improving. Engagement is improving. And teacher vacancies have dropped by more than 30% and are at half the national average. And the nation is taking notice. Just last week at Broadway Elementary in Denison, U.S. Secretary of Education Linda McMahon and I announced a first-in-the-nation initiative granting Iowa greater control over federal education funding. This marks an important first step toward fully returning education to the states and ensuring federal resources are aligned with Iowa priorities and Iowa student outcomes. Broadway Elementary is the perfect example of why that matters. Innovation was happening in every classroom we visited. Dual language immersion, STEM, and the science of reading, and it's driving student achievement. Literacy proficiency jumped from 65% to 72% in just 1 year. This is what's possible when states and schools are empowered to focus on the work that expands opportunities for every student. I want to thank the administrators, the teachers, and the students in Denison for proving why Iowa is leading education nationwide. Please stand so we can honor your outstanding work. All of this happened because Iowa made a clear decision to put students first. That's reflected in the laws we pass, the standards we set, and the priorities we fund. And it comes to life in our classrooms, where teachers meet kids where they are, believe in what they can become, and do the quiet, everyday work that changes lives. To every educator who puts students first, thank you for shaping Iowa's future. One of the clearest examples of our Students First approach can be found in Cedar Rapids. This year, Cedar Rapids Prep, a tuition-free public charter school, opened its doors for middle school students and quickly filled every seat with a waiting list already forming. Demand has been so strong that plans are already moving forward to expand the school, adding grade levels and a new facility to serve even more families. Some have described that success as a problem, not because students are struggling, but because enrollment shifts mean that some traditional public schools may need to adjust staffing or facilities. In other words, the concern is not about how children are doing, it's about how systems are changing. And that's the wrong way to look at it. If parents are choosing a school because they believe it's working for their children, that's not something to resist. That's something to celebrate. When a school meets the needs of families, that's progress. And Cedar Rapids is not alone. Other public charter schools are seeking to open across the state next year, bringing even more options to families who want them. Choice doesn't weaken our commitment to public education. It strengthens it by making every school focus on what matters most, the students in front of them. That's why I'm proposing a bill to ensure per-pupil funding truly follows the student so that every public school student receives equal support no matter which public school they attend. Because equity isn't just about funding, it's also about access. My proposal will ensure that public charter school students have access to concurrent enrollment and extracurricular activities, just like students in traditional public schools. Every student deserves access to college credit and activities, not because of where they attend school, but because they are an Iowa kid. And that's what education is about in the end. Not programs, not politics, but students. Iowa will remain a state that puts students first, and we will never look back. I couldn't be prouder to be the governor of Iowa. Across every one of our 99 counties, our people are hardworking, independent, and strong. They believe in responsibility, in community, and in leaving things better than they found them. Serving you has been one of the greatest privileges of my life. And as I enter into my final legislative session as governor, I do so deeply grateful, fully committed, and determined to finish strong. There will be time to look back and time to say thank you. But tonight, our focus is forward on what still needs to be done and on doing it together. Because every person in this chamber came here for the same reason, to do what you believe is right for the people of Iowa. We may disagree, we have disagreed, and we will disagree again. But those disagreements have always been rooted in conviction, not indifference, and in a shared belief that Iowa is worth fighting for. And that's what this session must be about. Not politics, but people. The people who sent us here. The families trying to make ends meet. The farmers weathering uncertainty. The veterans who served us. The students preparing for their future. The seniors who want to stay in their homes. And the young Iowans who are looking to buy their first home. The small businesses and communities that form the backbone of our state. So let's meet this moment the way Iowans always have, with honesty, with humility, and with a willingness to work together. Let's solve real problems, deliver real results, and let's leave Iowa stronger than we found it. The condition of our state is strong, and with the work we do here together, its future will be even stronger. So thank you, God bless you, and God bless the great state of Iowa. Thank you.
Family from the House chamber.
And you have been watching and listening to Governor Kim Reynolds' 2026 Condition of the State Address here from the Iowa State Capitol. You can see she has been dismissed. The committee of legislators that escorted her into the chamber are there as she hugs her family that is